let's spend a beautiful sunny day in my home garden. We're going to be doing some onion planting, some garlic planting, a lot of cleaning up, picking up empty pots and dead stuff, maybe potting up a few other things, spending lots of time with my kiddos like Chloe here, and the chickens are behind me out in their mobile little coop that we put out on beautiful days. So they're eating some fresh grass and lots of bugs and good stuff and enjoying the sunshine just like we are. So on days like today, when you can get outside, and I plan on spending as much of the day as possible outside because it's supposed to be absolutely beautiful. I've already got a bunch of yard debris cleaned up. Got a little fire going in the fire pit, trying to get some other things going. Checking all the beds that I have. So I'm at home, obviously, so I'm not working at the farm currently. But that's soon to come, so that's why I'm taking some time to get as much done at home as I possibly can. But yeah, I'm checking all my beds, seeing things that need maybe pulled out, doing any more pruning that I haven't done already. I've done most of my pruning, but there's a couple kale plants that I'll probably take out that don't look great, but I'll leave some other ones also, you know, just checking to see how everything kind of made it through the winter so far. We're not done with winter yet. I know it feels like spring today, but it is very winter still. And I'm also going to be having some fun. I'm hoping to make a little bouquet maybe with some hellebores that I do have blooming, so those will be really pretty in a bouquet with some winter greens that I do have and maybe some herbs or something. Also, definitely going to be shopping my yard for some stuff that need potted up. I have a ton of little baby hollyhocks growing in places that they shouldn't be growing, so I'm gonna dig those up and get those potted up, so I'll have a bunch of those beautiful hollyhocks you've seen in my past videos from summertime that I can put in other places in the garden. And I'm sure I'll find lots of other things that need potted up because I love free plants. So it's always good to check your home garden before you go out to the store to see if, you know, maybe something volunteered and seeded itself last fall and is popping up right now or very soon, depending on where you're living. But right now there's a lot of things popping up, so it's a great time to get out in your garden and just assess it before you go out and buy a bunch of new stuff. So come enjoy a day with me in the home garden. So I just popped in a bunch of onions in this, I think it's 2 by like 5 foot bed. You can plant a ton of onions in a very small space, and what I did, I usually cram them in there pretty good, but I don't cover them up until the end, so that way I can see where I've planted. And we're gonna, I think I probably did about half the bag at least, if not a little bit more, so probably about 50 onions that are in here. So pretty soon, probably like in a week or so, they'll all be popped up, and then you can see, you know, how many are in here, and then you can start, if there's other things you want to plant in here too, going around that or adding some. If there was a couple that didn't look great, so I put 2 in a couple of the holes just because some of them looked a little dried out and kind of squishy, so, but most of them are pretty good. So we'll see. We'll have onions for late summer, early fall in my home garden. This is the kind that I got. I grow a ton of things by seeds, and I will be growing some like really specialty cool onions by seeds this year, but $4 for 90 onions, I don't think that's a bad deal. So usually every year I'll get at least a bag of these, and I'll pop them in as early as I can. So we'll do that, and then we're gonna do some garlic next. It's a beautiful day, isn't it? Poppy, you guys having a good day out in the sunshine? Yeah. So I'm getting ready to plant some garlic, but as you can see, there is already some garlic in this bed. There's a bunch of empty spots, but what I think probably happened is because you look at how close these are together, I definitely wouldn't plant them that close, is I probably forgot to harvest or didn't, when you pull onion, sometimes it'll break off and I might have forgot about it or whatever. But either way, it obviously the whole bulbs were in there that I should have harvested in the fall, and I did not. So they all just sprouted. So what we're gonna try is to pull these up and divide them and see if we can get them to grow. That's one of those things, especially in my home garden, but really in any of the growing that I do as far as plants goes, it's trial and error. So, there's some kind of rules sometimes for certain things, especially garlic and the type of garlic you're planting when. But I also am very much experimental when it comes to the garden. At this point, it's already growing. I could cut it and eat the greens or whatever, but I think, and I could still do that, and I probably will, that way they focus on some roots. But it's just one of those things, why not try it and see if it works? If it doesn't, it doesn't. Out a couple of bulbs of garlic, it's okay. So I'm going to trim these up and I'm going to divide them, and then I'm going to plant them and the new garlic that I have all in this bed right here. It's with a rose bush, so those are usually pretty good together. And then I also, in the spring, when it gets a little closer to not cold at night, I always plant nasturtiums and things like that in between here, and lettuce and stuff like that. But for now, that's what's going to go in here. That's a weed, but these are all the little garlics, so they've definitely sprouted. Set those aside. Great time to get all the bindweed out, and it's easy to pull. And get that in the garbage can. Do not put that in your compost can. Falling. Bindweed is my garden nemesis, and obviously I don't spray, so it's just one of those things that you will deal with often. But basically, if you see it, pull it out, put it in your garbage can or burn it. Do not put it in your compost bin, please. I'm pretty sure that's how I got it to begin with someone put it in the compost that I had. So it's clear that these have been in here for a while, because if you try to pull them, they don't want to come out. So you have to help them a little bit from below. So we'll get these up and go from there. So I just noticed one of these is way bigger than the other one. So I apparently forgot an elephant garlic, I'm guessing, in here. Let's dig that one up. It's pretty big. It's really stuck in there. Look at that one. Oh my gosh. Look at that. 2 handfuls. Get it cleaned up a little bit so you can see. Wow, that's pretty cool though. I don't remember them planting elephant garlic, but it's definitely elephant garlic. How big that is. There's like major cloves in there. Gorgeous. Okay, we'll split this one too, and I'm really excited because now I have elephant garlic that I did not have any starts for, so I'll get that planted too. So I'll explain this particular bed a little bit more, and it'll probably explain a lot of the rest of my beds too, and how I've sort of come to plant over the years as far as my home garden goes. I have a ton of perennials in my vegetable garden at home. They're not all vegetables. A lot of it's herbs, like, rosemary, thyme, oregano, all of those things, and I fill those in with stuff, with everything. I don't ever really have a bed. I definitely don't have a bed that's just for one particular thing to grow. It's kind of started that way maybe the first year that I got all these beds installed, but it has definitely morphed into every single bed has multiple things in it. Most of them, probably all but this one, has herbs in it. You know, I talk about companion planting a lot, and herbs are a big part of that, along with annual flowers that I like, nasturtiums, of course, and alyssum and things like that, and marigolds that I incorporate a little bit later in the season. But this particular bed, I have a climbing rose, which is this right here. Part of that is just because it's beautiful, and that's okay. You know, it's got flowers, so of course it'll bring in some pollinators. Roses are also really good companion plants with garlic. And then I also have a grapevine, so on the other side. So I have these really big trellises, you can see there and there. So part of that is when these are growing up a little bit more and they have all of the foliage on them, they're gonna make this bed a little bit shadier than some of the other ones. My garden is, this side of it for sure is full sun most of the day in the summer, so it gets warmer. So this bed, I usually, like I said, I'll get the garlic in it, maybe some onions if I needed some more room, but mostly this is garlic, and then the nasturtiums, maybe some alyssum, but then I always pop little lettuces in this one too. So it's a good bed for greens just because of the slight bit of shade that's over here. So that's what this bed has. So there's always a grapevine and there's always a rose in here, no matter what. And now I've just got all those garlics out, and I'm gonna get them trimmed and split up, and we'll get those planted. And now that I have all these plants to do, I might need a second place to plant the rest of the garlic, but we'll see. It's a good surprise. Okay, I just had to show you, I got it cleaned up a little bit more. The absolute beauty of this free garden find that I found today, the giant elephant garlic that I got here. So I'm going to divide this, like I said, but I'll probably actually keep a couple of these to eat as just some green garlic, because this will be delicious, and the rest of them I'll plant. I'll probably just take some of the smaller ones off, but yum, yum, yum. So just carefully, you want to make sure the roots stay on the little bulbs at this point. So just kind of, you know, work them apart. There we go. So you don't break them. Otherwise, if you do break them, I would make those ones the ones you eat right now. Look at that. Oh, beautiful roots. And then I trim these off, and those will be something yummy for dinner tonight. Do the same with all of these. And like I said before, this is basically an experiment. I've actually never tried this before. I just figure why not? So, you know, there's probably something that says you shouldn't do this for whatever reason, but I'm going to try it and we'll just see how it goes. I'll make sure to keep you updated. Maybe it's a little deeper than I would if it's not something that's already rooted, because you want to make sure we get those roots all in the bottom there. Go. You have plenty of room if you're planting elephant garlic between them, because they are going to get quite large, as you can see. I got 4 of those planted and I kept 1 to eat. We'll see. Now on to the regular garlic. And I actually think, and now seeing that this is kind of purple reddish, I definitely planted some like purple striped garlic last year. So I'm guessing that's what this is, which is really awesome. It was delicious. So I'm going to get these. You can plant these a little bit closer than we did the elephant garlic. I would say I did the elephant garlic probably 4 inches apart. So you could probably almost go half that for these ones. That. And you can cover these ones up as you're going, not like I did with the onions if you want, because you have a little bit that you could stick out of the ground, just a teeny bit, just to see where you've already planted. But you can leave it open and cover it up when you're done too, whatever you want. Let's get these planted. So this is fully planted with garlic. I did not even open the new garlic that I got. I had plenty to plant in here with all the ones that I just dug up and split and replanted. So we will see probably some new green sprouting up in a week or so, depending on the weather. It's supposed to be fairly warm-ish, but I would probably even add a little bit of mulch or some leaves. You can see I left the leaves that are on here. That would not hurt at all since we're still in the winter, but I think that they'd probably be fine without it also, at least here. You can see I did not plant anything in the center here. That's why I leave that, because I usually use that for nasturtiums and I don't want to have to work too much around other plants when I'm planting that kind of stuff.